snow fell like a silent lullaby over the sleeping city. The streets, once filled with laughter and light, now lay hushed beneath a pale December sky. Amid the faint jingles of distant carols and the shimmering glow of Christmas lights, a small figure lay curled up near the entrance of an old bakery. A little girl, no more than 8, her frail body wrapped in a tattered red coat 2 sizes too big, and her arms folded tight around a stuffed bear missing one eye. Her face was pale, lips trembling in her sleep, and beneath her, the cold concrete bit through like frost on glass. While families gathered around warm fires and golden trees, she had no home, no one waiting for her. Only the street knew her name. Before we go further, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Soul Spark, where stories like this remind us that even in the darkest moments, kindness can light up the world. Her name was Lily. She had been wandering the streets for 3 nights since her mother collapsed on the steps of Stain, Mary's shelter, a woman too young to look so tired, too kind to deserve the world's silence. The city, busy and bright, had moved on without noticing the child left behind. Lily kept believing her mama would wake up, that someone would take her home. But no one did. That Christmas morning, the city awoke to church bells and the smell of cinnamon drifting from bakery windows. People hurried with wrapped gifts, laughter echoing through the air. While Lily slept beside a cardboard box filled with crumbs, the world passed her by like she was invisible. Just another shadow beneath the glittering signs of joy. Across town, in a world that seemed like another planet, Michael Donovan adjusted his tie inside a glass skyscraper. The city knew him as the man who owned half of downtown. The Christmas King, as the newspapers called him, a self-made millionaire who built his empire from nothing but ambition and grit. But this Christmas felt empty. His wife was gone, his son grown and distant. His wealth, though vast, felt like a house of glass, shimmering, fragile, and cold. He had spent years chasing numbers, not moments. For the first time in decades, he was alone on Christmas morning. He ordered his driver to take him to the countryside. He didn't know why. Maybe he wanted silence, or maybe he was running from it. As the car rolled through the old district, traffic slowed. Michael looked out the tinted window, and that's when he saw her. A small bundle of red and brown, motionless on the sidewalk. "Stop the car," he said quietly. The driver hesitated. It was a rough neighborhood. But something in Michael's voice wasn't asking. It was remembering. He stepped out, the wind cutting through his tailored coat. He knelt down beside her. The girl stirred, eyes fluttering open, revealing a pale blue that shimmered like winter skies. "Hey," he whispered, his breath fogging in the cold. "Are you okay?" Lily blinked, clutching her bear tighter. "Mama," she murmured, her voice small and broken. His throat tightened. "No, sweetheart, I'm not your mama, but I'll help you find her." She looked at him, confused, mistrustful, the way children who've been hurt too many times look at the world. Michael noticed her bare hands, red and raw from the cold. He took off his gloves and placed them on her tiny fingers. "You'll need these more than I do." He called an ambulance, but Lily shook her head violently. "Don't take me away! They'll make me go to the bad place again!" she cried. He knelt lower. "What bad place?" "The home. They yell. They take my bear." Michael hesitated. Something inside him cracked. A long-forgotten memory of sleeping in his mother's car when his father left. He remembered hunger, cold, the sound of sirens. He knew that kind of fear. So instead of the hospital, he wrapped her in his coat and carried her to his car. The driver looked shocked. "Sir, are you sure?" "Yes," Michael said. "Drive home." In his mansion on the hill, the contrast was staggering. The warmth of a roaring fireplace, the scent of pine and apple cider. A tree tall enough to touch the ceiling wrapped in gold lights. Lily stared wide-eyed at it all, as if afraid it might disappear if she blinked. Michael brought her hot chocolate, but she didn't touch it. "Is this a dream?" she whispered. He smiled faintly. "If it is, let's not wake up just yet." She smiled back. A small, uncertain curve of her lips, and for the first time in years, Michael felt something shift inside him. The mansion no longer felt empty. Over the next few days, Lily began to talk. In broken pieces, she told him about her mother, about the shelter, about the nights she spent waiting for someone to notice her. Michael listened, every word piercing deeper. He had spent his life building towers of steel, yet he had never built anything that truly mattered. He hired private investigators to find Lily's mother. But 2 days later, the news came. She had passed away at the shelter that same night Lily fell asleep on the sidewalk. Michael stood in silence, the paper trembling in his hands. How do you tell a child her entire world is gone? He didn't. Instead, he held her close as she cried against his chest, whispering over and over, "You're safe now, I promise." Something changed in Michael that Christmas. The man who once measured success in profits began measuring it in smiles. He set up a foundation in Lily's mother's name, one that helped homeless children find homes, safety, and love. He started visiting shelters not as a donor, but as a listener. The newspapers called it the miracle of Fifth Street. But Michael didn't do it for headlines. He did it because of a small hand that clung to his and a little girl who reminded him what being human truly meant. Months passed. The snow melted. Lily's laughter filled the house like sunlight through dusty windows. One morning, as spring painted the hills green, she looked up from her cereal and asked, "Monsieur, Michael, do I have to go to another home now?" He paused. "Do you want to?" She shook her head, eyes shimmering. "I want to stay here, with you." He smiled, tears threatening to fall. "Then I guess this is your home now too." And so the man who had everything but love gained a daughter, and the little girl who had nothing found a father. Before we reach the ending, if this story touched your heart, please like this video, share it with someone who believes in miracles, and subscribe to Soul Spark for more stories that remind us what really matters years later. On another Christmas morning, the city streets glowed once more. Outside the same old bakery, a new sign read, "Lily's Hope Foundation. Every child deserves a Christmas." Children laughed as volunteers handed out toys and food. Among them stood Michael, his hair now silver, his eyes bright with peace. Beside him, a young woman with a red scarf and a familiar stuffed bear smiled at the crowd. "Ready?" she asked. "Always," he replied. As the first snow began to fall, Lily looked up at the sky, the same sky that once watched her sleep on a cold sidewalk, and whispered, "Thank you, Mama." Because sometimes the greatest miracles don't come from heaven. They come from the hearts that dare to care. Written for Soul Spark, where every story reminds us that compassion can rewrite destiny.